Do you recognize this chart for this 5G stock that's currently trading under $5 per share? Many of you who've been a subscriber to the channel for over a year know I've talked about this business before, but there's been a lot of requests to do an update video on this stock, so that's what I'm going to be doing for you guys in today's video. 5G stocks are all the rage right now. They seemingly have a ton of upside potential as the 5G revolution really takes hold around the world. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing a stock that develops infrastructure for 5G. So it's going to be an informative and exciting video. Now, if you guys recall, last week I did cover Xilinx stock. So if you want to check out that stock, that's more of a 5G play from the chip semiconductor side of things. So that's another interesting stock to check out if you haven't. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you do want to watch that as well after this video. And I'll tell you what, if you guys want me to keep creating 5G videos like this with individual stock picks, help get this video to 1,000 likes and I will keep creating these 5G videos for you guys on a regular basis. But anyways, for today, our feature presentation is the Finnish telecom giant Nokia. Nokia is a global company which makes it so interesting to many as a possible 5G investment. They operate in around 120 different countries in different continents around the world. They employ nearly 100,000 people. And here on this graph, you can see a breakdown of each country and where they have a big presence in. Europe is, of course, the biggest as the company is based out of Finland, so they have a good hold in the European market. And you can also see here that in Asia, China, and North America, they are still fairly sizable as well. Now, I know a lot of you think that Nokia is a company that created cell phones back in the day, and some think of Nokia now as a dinosaur company who's trying to become relevant once again with 5G technology. But guys, Nokia is so big, they have multiple business segments, 7 to be exact. They do mobile networks, fixed networks, global services, IP and optical networks. They have a Nokia software division, which is a highly profitable segment of the business. They have the Nokia enterprise division, and they have a Nokia technologies division. Each division tackles a different problem here when it comes to technology and 5G specifically. And as a whole, the business is doing quite well with these different segments. In their latest earnings report, things look strong for the company, but they did make some forward-looking statements which will be critical in next quarter's earnings. The company stated that they are on a strong financial position going into the global issue with a strong customer base. They made quite a bit of new progression with 5G in terms of deployment and deals, including 70 commercial deals and 21 live networks. Out of these 7 segments we just discussed, they're seeing strong growth in Nokia software and Nokia enterprise. In their last statement here, they say that they expect Q2 to have the most impact from the global issue, as with most businesses, so no surprise there. But here's the surprising part, they continue to expect a seasonally strong second half of the year as the business gets through these tough times. Now, the goal for 2020 for Nokia lies in these 3 pillars. Number 1, execute in mobile access, presumably with 5G technology. Number 2, generate cash for the business. And number 3, secure long-term value. Now, I know this is a fairly vague list of things here that the business wants to achieve, but we will be spending a bit of time here to go through each one of these and discuss what they actually mean by things like generate cash for the business. Of course, you must be thinking every business wants to generate cash, but guys, just hold on a second and we'll go through that. Now, I'll tell you this, from my perspective, guys, I'm mostly a value stock picker here. When I look at this list of things that they want to achieve in 2020, it tells me that the company is really focused on strengthening their financial position, and they're prioritizing the health of the company, the balance sheet of the company above all else. Now, I have kind of mixed feelings on this when it comes to Nokia, but I will discuss that in a minute. First, let's go through more detail on these 3 pillars that we just talked about. Now, in terms of the first pillar with mobile access, the company owns 27% of the world's market, excluding China when it comes to 4G and 5G radios. This is huge because owning nearly 1/3 of the radio technology allows them to pull their weight around when it comes to standards and certifications. Now, the second pillar in regards to generating cash, the company here expects to be cash flow positive in 2020. This is a very strong sign of a healthy business, and this allows them to reinvest back into the company without burdening the balance sheet of the company. Shareholders should be very happy with this initiative. Finally, the third pillar here is generating long-term value, and of course, as a long-term investor, this is also appealing to me. And what the company here expects to do is continue with innovation, strengthen their product portfolio and patent portfolio, and develop new software technologies to help optimize applications with 5G services. This is important because the software segment is a high margin part of the business, and seeing this succeed means more profits roll in for the company. Now, Nokia has had a wild ride in the market, guys. If you've been following the stock for the last couple decades, you've been through some crazy ups and downs, but mostly downs, unfortunately. And here you can see that Nokia has not really recovered from the dot-com bubble, and even today, it's sitting like a penny stock under $5 per share. But it's important to note that this company is not a penny stock despite the price per share. In fact, Nokia is nearly a $25 billion giant, which is quite impressive, and this shows us that this business is still very much a large company. But anyways, here's my favorite part. You guys know what's next. We have to look at the financial situation of the company to help us really determine if this is a worthy long-term investment. Here's a snapshot of their revenues and net income annually for the last few years, and we can see that they have been struggling, and there's really no way to sugarcoat this. 2013, 2015 were tough times for the business, but since 2016, they've been maintaining around a $26 billion or so of revenue annually, but net income is still having a very hard time. In 2019, they reported around $8 million in net income, and really for a company pulling in over $26 billion in revenue, $8 million is really chump change. Clearly there is something going on here, and there are some big expenses the business faces, and this makes sense why one of their goals is to be cash flow positive for this year, because since 2016, they haven't had 2 profitable years in a row. Now, if they can achieve this and post profits in the billions, it could be the spark the stock needs to start moving higher. In terms of the balance sheet, the assets of the business look strong. They have nearly $7 billion in cash and nearly $19 billion in current assets. They also have some long-term investments in assets, bringing their total asset value to $43.8 billion. Now, in terms of liabilities, they have $13.5 billion of current liabilities, which is covered by their $19 billion in current assets, so I'm not really too concerned here. Their total liabilities is also manageable, in my opinion, at $26.5 billion, with $5.3 billion of that being a long-term debt. But once again, it's all covered by their total assets. I would say that this company has a pretty good balance sheet overall here, with a 1.65 times of assets to liabilities, so there's no concerns here for insolvency in the business in the short term. I also want to add here, guys, that Nokia does currently pay out a dividend of around 1.34% yield or so, but their history for growing or maintaining the dividend has been very inconsistent. I would personally not be looking at this business for dividend income or as a dividend growth company, because it's clear to me that while they do want to pay out shareholders, while they do prioritize shareholders, the dividend is not really something that they're able to maintain consistently. Now, we know that their focus this year is on strengthening the financials of the business, the balance sheet of the business, kind of the bottom line of the business, so that they're able to do things like raise their dividend consistently, pay out dividends, maybe do some share buybacks, and other things to reward shareholders. If we look here at the share counts of the company, we can see that they did dilute shareholders a few years ago, but since then it's been fairly steady. And hopefully, if things go according to plan and the business is able to actually continue maintaining or growing their revenues, but increasing their margins so that their profits increase, then they can actually contribute some of that income to share buybacks, reduce the share count, and as a result, increase value for shareholders. But that being said, guys, in the short term, my view on this business is I think that Nokia should really focus on being the #1 player in this space. Right now, they have 27% market share excluding China. I think they need to grow that to well above 30-40% to be the dominant force here. Right now, yeah, they have a good hold on 5G. Yes, they have a good sway when it comes to going with certifications or standards and all that kind of stuff. But the market is so large, it's such a global company, and 5G is going to be a global technology that every country wants to employ, that a 27% market share, although impressive, it does need to grow higher. I think that if they're able to grow that net income substantially, they should put that money back into growing the business as opposed to prioritizing dividends right now. I think that if Nokia fails on this and they focus more on the shareholder in the short term as opposed to their business really in the short term, they could lose the race in 5G and some of their competitors come in, swoop up their market share, and that 27% could soon drop to 25, 22, 20, and even below that, and that's not going to be a fun time for the company. Now, a lot of companies don't do this, but Nokia provided us an outlook for 3 to 5 years on the business, and we can see here a priority for them is to increase their operating margin from 9% to around 12 to 14%, and this of course will result in more cash flow and more profits. They also briefly mentioned growing the dividends here for shareholders, which may excite some, but again, like I just said, I'd rather them reinvest that cash into the company for the short term. So when it comes to 5G, guys, Nokia is one of the first names that comes to mind. And I know I've seen a couple of comments on previous 5G videos that I've made asking to cover Nokia stock, and those comments seem to be getting a ton of traction, ton of thumbs up. So I thought I'd do this video for you guys to give you my thoughts really on the business and where I see this company as a potential long-term investment. Now, while I don't own Nokia here today, I do have my eye on a few 5G stocks, and Ericsson is actually another one that I will cover if you guys are able to get 1,000 likes on this video. So if you want to see Ericsson covered, you want to see how that kind of stacks up here against Nokia, which is another big 5G infrastructure company, let me know in the comment section down below. Comment the word Eric so that I know that the next 5G video that I make will be around Ericsson. Guys, either way, I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you learned something from this video. And if you did, share this with a friend and don't forget to subscribe if you are brand new here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.